We're now joined by the correspondent Ron Jacobsohn, a host on TLV1 Radio. Hi, Ron. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Yael.
So you're here to discuss some of Israeli achievements in the past 66 years.
Yes, so as I was compiling this list, quite a few. I was amazed. You don't think about it. So first of all, let's go to my turf, Hollywood.
Okay.
Oscars. So there are 10 Israeli movies that were nominated for an Oscars over the years.
Wow.
First one came 50 years ago in 1964. That was a movie called Shalach Shabati. And if we look at throughout the years that the movies that were nominated, we can see how Israel has changed over the years. So Shalach Shabati was about the new immigrants and them being absorbed into the Israeli society. Over the years, we saw...
And it was received in Hollywood. I mean, people. It's such an Israeli movie. It really discusses Israeli discourse, and Israel in the 60s is not, Hollywood in the 60s.
Definitely. Then we had The Policeman, Shoter Azulai in 1971, I Love You Rosa in 1972, and then, we talked about life in Israel and how we live our life here, and The House on Schluss Street, and Operation Thunderbolt, which was Miftzai Yonatan. Then we went into the military movies in 1977, and then 1984 came Beyond the Walls, which was already the Palestinian-Israeli issues coming into play here. Then in the early 2000s, when the new renaissance of Israeli movies at the Oscars, we had Before, again, a war movie, Waltz with Bashir, 2009, Ajami, not far from here in Jaffa.
So if we can look at it as a trend, I would say, from the very early years of the state, it was more about Israeli cultural life.
Yes.
Maybe ethnic minorities that were coming into Israel. Of course, these are the years that many Aliyah, we saw a lot of new immigrants coming to Israel and changing the face of Israeli society. And in later years, it does become more political, more military infused, and perhaps more controversial.
Yes, you might say. And then, so we haven't won an Oscar yet, but I must say that individual Israeli citizens have won Oscars, so the 3 of them so far. We have Moshe Mizrahi, who won in 1977 for Best Foreign Language Movie for France, for a movie called Madame Rosa, which is a Holocaust movie. Then we had, of course, Natalie Portman in 2010 for Black Swan, and Niva Diri, who won this year for Best Sound Editing for Gravity.
So we try to find those Israelis within the whole Hollywood scramble and say, they're ours.
Okay. Other entertainment achievements. Eurovision Song Contest happening this weekend in Copenhagen.
Oh, I completely forgot about it.
Israel won 3 times the Eurovision Song Contest. In 1978 for Abani B, 1979 for Hallelujah, and in 1998 for Diva. So,
which was, of course, groundbreaking that year and made an international splash, which...
Viva la Diva, right? Viva la Diva?
It's called Diva.
Oh, it's called Diva.
You want to sing it for us?
No. I just remember that famous scene of, this is Donna International.
Yes, it is Donna International.
When she tried to get the trophy.
Yes.
It kind of fell on top of her. That was kind of...
She was really, groundbreaking both in her music and in her identity of, coming to this very conservative European competition and showing, this is
And it kind of opened up the whole competition because it was a campy competition before, but after her win, the doors were wide open, so to say.
Good, an Israeli achievement right there.
There you go. And of course, we hosted the Eurovision twice here in 79
That's the prize you get.
And in 1999.
Cool.
Yes. Cool. We had beauty queens. In 1976, Rina Moore won Miss Universe, and in 1998, Limor Abergil won Miss World. So,
who herself is taking Hollywood by storm with her own documentary about her own experience, rape experience, of course, right before she won Miss World in 1998.
And let's not forget television. We're talking all the time about TV formats. So the one groundbreaking format that opened the door kind of at least a little bit was Entrainment. That ran on HBO for 108 episodes and has many formats around the world that do the same thing.
And the star of Entrainment here in Israel, Asad Dayan has just passed away a few days ago, of course.
Traffic Light, which is very popular here in Israel, made it to Fox, survived only 13 episodes, but in Russia is already running a sixth season. And the Israeli version of Traffic Light actually won Best Comedy in the International Emmy Awards. So there you go.
Wow.
And Homeland, of course, which is the most popular Israeli format, has been on the air on Showtime for 36 episodes so far.
And it's President Obama's favorite show.
There you go. And I think that by this time next year, when we will be talking, it will be Rising Star, the new talent competition show that has already been sold to 25 countries.
Okay.
And
this is an Israeli produced?
Akokhav Haba, that is Keshet's format. It has already premiered in Brazil and Portugal, but the big premiere is coming up in a month's time on ABC in the US.
What makes it so, glitzy for the international audience? They have so many talent shows. I mean, American Idol and so forth has, of course, formatted itself. The Voice comes from from America. Why
Voice
the
actually
Rising
is Dutch.
Star? Sorry, the Dutch, but it did very well, of course, in the States. Why is the Rising Star, the Israeli version, even something to?
It was the twist that was done to it, because a lot of the TV stations today in the world are looking for what they call the second screen, that you can combine between the app on your tablet or smartphone with the TV. What it does is, by the way, it's very smart, this whole thing with the second screen, because more and more people are leaving TV for DVRs. And in order for the TV station to capture the audience, to be live with them and watch the commercials as well, they create all those second screen applications to be so that when you're live, you have to be live, otherwise you're not part of the whole thing, the whole experience of being the one who gets to vote while the show happens.
And particularly Israeli, this kind of format?
And Rising Star is exactly that. Because, American Idol has done it and The Voice has done it, but this is the first time when you're at home voting people off on your app and you can see yourself. There's this big wall in the Rising Star. People who are registered, their picture on that big wall as they vote. So everybody wants that 15 minutes of fame of seeing themselves as they vote. So
putting your Israeli startup nation together with Israeli culture.
I mean, we see also now there's all those hedge funds who used to invest in startups are now investing in formats.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to be very interesting the next year what's going to happen with that.
And is Hollywood going to celebrate Israeli independence at all? Any inside information that you have coming out of California?
Well, they are every year, but what they do is it's always, in the US, it's always in the weekend, because you can't do something in the middle of the week. It doesn't fit. So, and it's always very good for the Israeli artists, because they work really hard here on the Independence Day. They go from one city to another. So on the weekend past the Independence Day, we'll have Rami Kleinstein perform in a park in the Valley in Los Angeles, and they're expecting about 500,000 people to show up.
Wow, so it's a mini Israel over there.
Yes.
Well, happy Independence Day, Ron
Independence
Jacobsohn. Thank you for joining us. Happy Independence Day, Anthony
to you
Grant.
as well, and to you.
And of course, happy Independence Day to all our viewers around the world. That's it for us this morning.